bathing in Jimmy's blood. Basking.
Hi guys, WrestleMania is around the corner and I will be definitely live streaming it. Unless something pops up, I will keep you updated, but I am so excited for this WrestleMania 41. But before we do so, I want to react to a couple of WrestleMania videos. So if you have any idea or you want to recommend something, let me know in the comments down below. For today, I chose WrestleMania video 11 most painful WWE WrestleMania injuries. Ooh.
WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all. It's where wrestlers will push their bodies to the absolute limit. From torn lungs to torn ligaments, the risks are very real. Superstars will do anything to get that WrestleMania moment. But sometimes they come with devastating consequences. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 11 of the most painful WrestleMania injuries that were 100% real. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlemania XL. Number 11. The Rock coughs up blood. Usually when a wrestler wants to show they have been injured internally, they will slip a blood capsule in the mouth. However, former WWE Intercontinental Champion Ken Shamrock revealed in an interview with Ethan Page that no tricks were used in his match against The Rock at WrestleMania 14. This was 100% legit. Just during the closing stages of the match, The Rock would try to get a cheap win by using a chair, but this led to Shamrock snapping and locking him in with the ankle lock. As Shamrock held in the submission, blood started to pour out of the Great One's mouth, leading him to tapping out and medical personnel rushing to his aid. The visual looked absolutely brutal, but Shamrock was adamant during the interview that no trickery such as a blood pill or capsule was used, and that The Rock legitimately tore his lung during the match. Oh hell no, I'm telling you, we'd tear lungs. I did the same thing where I was coughing up blood taking a slam because I had a tear in my lung, which is like a little paper cut or a tear in your lung from getting slammed so hard that blood would start leaking in. Shamrock would go on to mention that was no capsule, man. We didn't do that during the Attitude Era. The stuff we did when we took things on the pole, shots to the head and were bleeding, they weren't blades. We did it the hard way, and that's by hitting it hard with ourselves on a pole to bust it open. The Rock would even confirm this via Instagram, posting a throwback to the moment saying, "On this night I took a hard suplex and the impact damaged blood vessels in my lungs, causing the blood to come up. Kept composed, made sure I could breathe, and continued with the match."
Oh my
What
god,
a badass.
imagine like...
I would safe to say that if this ever happened in the current era, the match would be stopped immediately as the...
I mean, probably, but also not really, because we saw what happened with JD McDonough and how injured he got, and he continued the whole match even though he was barely capable of breathing from the pain. So I don't know, it's like the adrenaline effect that they have, and they know that they need to finish something because so many people are watching. It's like they are badass. These people, these wrestlers, they're badass. Like they can take bumps and hits and go through the pain. Like for them, pain, it is painful, but they don't give up. And these ones who don't give up, they are the legends.
Welfare of the superstars comes paramount. Number 10, Triple H breaks Owen Hart's nose. Following the Montreal Screwjob, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart, and Davey Boy Smith would all leave WWE in favor of WCW, and the only Hart Foundation member to remain with Vince would be Owen Hart. Owen would go on to stay in the mid-card and just found himself fighting for the European Championship at WrestleMania 14 against champion Triple H. Whilst this was a standard enough match, during the match Hart would suffer a cut to the bridge of his nose, caused by Triple H delivering a stiff boot to the face. Over the course of the match, the cut would get increasingly worse and no doubt required some stitches once the match was over. Number 9, Randy Orton lands on the announce table. When a wrestler takes a bump through the announce table, it's vital that all objects are cleared from the table. This extends to monitors, laptops, and pens. And when we're talking about monitors, it's not those flat screens that you find on today's announce tables. No, previously WWE had those jumbo-sized CRTs which could do a lot of damage to a wrestler. The landing needs to be as smooth and clean as possible, or the wrestler could be seriously hurt. When Randy Orton and Batista hit the RKO Batista Bomb combo and Daniel Bryan through the table at WrestleMania 30, Orton took his RKO bump straight into a TV monitor. But why on earth the monitors weren't cleared prior was a question a lot of fans had, as this was completely reckless and it would have taken a matter of seconds for the wrestlers to clear the table completely. Orton was understandably in a lot of pain, and the footage is hard to watch back, especially knowing what we know with Orton's history of back problems. The damage was so severe that you could visibly see a lash on his back. Number 8, Scott Steiner lands on his head.
During probably, I feel like that's one of the hits that got him a week back today.
Steiner's early back. Number 8, Scott Steiner lands on his head. During Scott Steiner's early years, it wasn't uncommon for him to take wild and unexpected bumps. Take for instance at Wrestlemania 9, Steiner teamed with his brother Rick to take on the Head Shrinkers, and during one spot in the match, it looked like Steiner was about to be thrown onto the ropes in a hangman style move, yet Steiner crashed to the outside looking like he landed right on his head. There was immediate concern for Steiner's welfare, and it was a miracle that he was okay. As wrestling evolved into the late 90s, Steiner would basically retire spots like these, which was probably the right call. Number 7, Dean Ambrose's insane ladder bump. The wrestlers in the ladder match at WrestleMania 31 went all out to steal the show. Dean Ambrose took things to the very next level. The late great Luke Harper powerbombed Ambrose right out of the ring, sending him crashing through a ladder that was resting on the apron and barricade. This landing was supposed to see Ambrose take a traditional flat back bump, but Ambrose got his landing completely wrong, and he managed to land in a horrible position with his neck crashing down onto the ladder. Ambrose looked completely out of it, and WWE officials and referees would rush to Ambrose's side to check if he was okay. It was a miracle that the former WWE champion didn't miss any time away from television, as this is the type of spot that could have ended his career. Number 6, The Miz gets concussed. Now, concussion and head trauma needs to be taken very seriously by wrestling companies, and in 2011 at WrestleMania 27, WWE's reigning champion suffered an obvious concussion, yet WWE allowed the match to continue. During The Miz's main event match with John Cena at WrestleMania 27, The Miz would be tackled off the barricade, and his head bounced right off the exposed concrete with a sickening thud. When The Miz next appeared on camera, he looked completely out of it. According to the referee for the match, Mike Chioda, The Miz was so lost that Chioda was forced to call spots for him. And speaking of Metro UK, Chioda added, "I did a WrestleMania match with Miz, and I was calling him spots, and I knew he got his bell rung, but I knew he didn't remember the whole match. He remembered a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. When I got back, I was like, congratulations, man, congratulations." I was like, "You okay, brother?" He's like, "I don't remember anything, really. I remember you telling me some spots." And then I was like, he was listening to everything I was doing. He was just very thankful for getting him through that, because if he doesn't get through that, you never know. You never know if there's another moment like that for The Miz down the road, you know?
Yeah.
Thankfully, WWE have drastically altered their concussion protocol since 2011, and if this type of incident happened today, then the match would have been brought to an immediate close. Number 5, Dumpster Disaster. Terry Funk was known for taking crazy and wild bumps, even at his age. At WrestleMania 14, Funk teamed with his real-life friend Cactus Jack to take on the New Age Outlaws. This wouldn't be any type of match, it would be a dumpster match, and one of the most insane spots of the match saw Funk take a powerbomb right into the dumpster itself. In an attempt to make the spot somewhat safe, WWE would place cardboard inside to cushion the blow, but this did little to negate the impact. When Funk emerged from the dumpster, it was apparent that he was legitimately hurt, as his skin was bright red, and this was definitely a spot that should have had more care and attention directed towards it. Mind you, it's not even like Terry Funk even sold that welt. Number 4, Rick Boogs tears his quad. Night 1 of WrestleMania 38 opened up with SmackDown Tag Team Champions the Usos defending the belts against a team of Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura. Boogs probably went from the highest of the highs to the lowest of the lows during the match. Boogs would suffer a torn quad when his knees buckled whilst attempting a great feat of strength, attempting to lift both Jay and Jimmy Uso at the same time. Boogs would reflect on the disastrous moment in an interview with Chris Van Vliet. There was supposed to be this documentary too. It's like, oh yeah, it's being filmed all day. Oh, it's your first WrestleMania. Then I just blew my tendon once I got in there. I guess I wasn't warmed up. We were the first match at WrestleMania 2, so it's not like I had much time to warm up. It was a crazy day. My muscle was firing so hard, it just ripped the tendon off the bone.
What did we learn today? For sure, you have to warm up and cool down. Okay, we don't play with those. Even athletes get injured.
Now, as a result, Boogs would have to undergo surgery, and whilst he made a full recovery, he would be released in September 2022. making this his only
Why?
WrestleMania appearance to date.
Oh, that's
And no, the
sad.
Andre the
Poor
Giant
guy.
Battle Royal on SmackDown does not count. Number 3, Sasha Banks' lash. Another mess with Bianca Belair's hair. That is something that Sasha Banks
with
found out
Liv
the hard way
Morgan?
when she faced Belair at WrestleMania 37.
I mean, the same happened with Liv Morgan, right? Oh, I didn't know it happened before.
With the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. Bianca had earned the opportunity to face the champion after winning the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble, and she wasn't going to let anything get in her way of winning the big one. But the most memorable moment of the match came after Bianca was about to deliver a KOD, but in a smart move, Banks held onto her hair. The two would grapple with the long locks until Bianca snapped and literally whipped Banks with it. The sound of the whip echoed throughout the stadium, and it left a literal impression on Banks' rib. Number 2, Ronda Rousey breaks her knuckle. Well, Ronda Rousey has had a lot of injuries to her hands over the years, and she suffered a major one when main eventing WrestleMania in 2019. When throwing work punches, Rousey managed to shatter her knuckle, and from rewatching the match, it's evident that Rousey is hurt, and she is reluctant to use her hand in various spots. WWE will release an official statement declaring Rousey's injury on their website, and it was ruled that Rousey needed pins in her right hand.
Oy.
While defending the Raw Women's Championship against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair in the historic first ever women's main event of WrestleMania, Ronda Rousey broke a pinky knuckle and required 2 pins in her right hand, as she revealed in a video on her YouTube channel. The injury
Literally a
didn't manage to
historic
deter
moment.
Rousey from returning to the ring, and just a few days later, she would be back in the squared
Rousey.
circle. And number 1, The Undertaker cuts his arm open. The Undertaker's final ever match would take place at WrestleMania 36, and that would be in a cinematic matchup between him and
Oh,
AJ
yeah.
Styles in a boneyard match.
Wait, that is crazy because it's cinematic. Like, they could have just paused the camera, dealt with it, and then moved on. I think it's the moment when he threw him in the glass.
Whilst the match received rave reviews, the dead man suffered a horrific
Yeah.
injury during the match, and The Undertaker just soldiered on like nothing was wrong.
That's crazy.
Speaking to sitting ringside with Dave Penza, Luke Gallows, who played a role in the match, said that when The Undertaker put his hand through the limousine window, the glass cut The Undertaker's arm right open.
Yep.
Taker comes right out of the gate, swings at AJ, who is against the limo. AJ ducks and puts his fist and arms through the glass. He got not just a cut, but a massive cut where you can see all kinds of shit hanging out of it.
Oy,
He's old
yo,
school,
no.
so we didn't want to stop. They cleaned it up and held a towel around it as long as we could. We put a bandage on it, and they went again and kept going.
That's
He continued to do it and
insane.
bled all night. He's an old school dude, so I have respect for that. And I thought it was cool. I said to Carl, didn't wrestling learn from the Goldberg incident?
Wrestling, I thought it's cool. He's completely bleeding. The dude, what? Ew.
According to Gallows, WWE didn't have gimmick glass for the spot, which was extremely alarming and reckless from the supposed top wrestling company in the world.
I mean, yes, but also Drew McIntyre got injured last week on glass. Apparently, it wasn't glass in his eyes, but there is this teeny tiny plastic between glasses to make the impact less, like the glass doesn't shatter completely. And that piece of plastic went into his eye. He is fine. He did wear an eye patch backstage. We didn't see him since then. But yeah, it still happens even today, which is funny.